Hey everybody, Joe Manuele here, aka Pepe, here for a brand new football season, a new season of Pepe's Parlay, and being consistent with what's been happening in the tech world. Those of you who know me know that I'm a big tech geek. We are actually adding a new twist to Pepe's Parlay this year. What we're going to do is I'm going to go through my favorite picks, just like I did last couple of years, actually. I'm going to give you my favorite bets, and you know, I'll leave it up to you on what you want to play. But in conjunction with Pepe's picks, we're going to run side by side in parallel picks by AI. So I'm specifically using two models that we pay for here at No Filter. One is Twitter's Grok, where we ask Grok what they think based on prompts that I specifically ask them to give me, and I do the same prompt, the same question to ChatGPT. We're using ChatGPT 4.0. So I've been kind of playing around with this for a little bit with a couple of different sports, asking Grok and actually not less ChatGPT, but more Grok on some WNBA picks. And it's actually been pretty impressive. I had days where I went 4 for 5 and 4 for 4. I also had days where I went 500, but I haven't had a losing day yet, just playing around with it. So I also use it in the past as a way to kind of like, validate your picks and your thought process. But both ChatGPT and Grok use different models. Um, Twitter actually uses, and Grok, which is Twitter based, goes through all the feeds. It's more of a sentiment analysis tool. Tells you a little bit which way people are leaning one way or another. So if you want to bet with the crowd, you kind of go down the Grok model. And ChatGPT uses more data, previous records and information that it has. So let's see how it does. So I'm actually I'll be keeping track of how we do. I'll do several picks for you guys this season. But more than anything else, super, super excited with the fact that, football is finally starting. So, hey, let's start off with the very first game of the season. That's playing tonight. We have on Thursday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion Chiefs, who are going to be at home against the Ravens, who lost to the said Chiefs during the AFC final. A game that I think they should have won. A lot of people think they should have won. They kind of beat themselves late in the game, gave up a lot of points early, bounced back, then had a couple of ridiculous penalties and self-inflicted wounds. The Ravens are a really, really, really good team. I mean, they're one of the teams that is favored to dethrone the Chiefs. We could talk about whether you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again. No team has ever won the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. So they're going to be focused on that. So we start off with the lines. The Chiefs right now are 3-point favorites at home. If you abide by the thesis that you get 3 points when you play at home, it's basically a pick 'em. I have different people who have different views on that. I think the home advantage is 1.5 to 2 points if you talk to some of the sharps. But let's call it a really, really close game. And the over under tonight is 46.5. Now, I will give you a couple of interesting trends. If you remember last year, actually the last 2 years, these Thursday night football games have been brutal. They've actually been unexciting, very low scoring. You could see that maybe the NFL wants to reverse the trend here. We have two explosive offenses coming into play. So that over is at 46.5, which is unusually high for a Thursday night football game. However, it is the Chiefs and the Ravens. So I asked Grok first. Grok came back and said they like the Chiefs to cover. And they like the over. So Grok thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game, and it's going to be a show for the fans. And we'll see if that happens to play out or not. And the Chiefs covering by 3, they believe is doable. They have it in a close game, but barely covering is basically where Grok came out from this. ChatGPT has a different play here. ChatGPT actually predicted that the Chiefs are going to win by 2. in a low-scoring game, so they like the under, and they like the Ravens +3. And so this is really interesting because the very first pick of the season of Pepe's Parlay versus AI, we all have different outcomes. And you're going to see, there's an unusual Friday night game this week because of the NFL decided they needed to go into Brazil. Different topic of conversation. Um, I'll give you some picks on Saturday, and I'll give you on my Monday Night Football pick. Pepe has the Ravens, and that's a typo there, not the Raves, but the Ravens money lining and the under in 46.5. So you could see that we're a little bit all over the map on this one. We have three different bets. I'm going to pick the game against the spread and the over. And if I think the dog is going to win, I'm going to actually, choose a money line bet. And then I'll do a fictitious $100 bet, and we'll assume that it's a two-team parlay throughout the season, and we'll see what the outcome looks like. We'll see who wins. So right now, I'll give you my logic. The Ravens have a revamped defense. They gave up a lot of points early last year in that AFC game, if you remember. The Chiefs also started the season really, really slowly. I think people forget about this. They finished strong. They also went deep 2 seasons in a row. Fatigue plays into this a little bit. I don't feel like the Chiefs really added too much offensively. They didn't get that much better. It's pretty well the same team they had last year, except everybody's healthy. The question is, do guys like Pacheco step up and third year in the season, can he actually play better? And I'll tell you, the Baltimore Ravens picked up Derrick Henry, like one of the most incredible running backs of our generation, gives us another dimension to the run game to the Ravens, which leans towards clock control. You want to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. That's how you beat these guys. I can see the Ravens wanting to grind the crap out of the Chiefs. I see a low-scoring game. I love, love, love the under. I'm probably going to play the under on its own at under 46.5 because of those reasons. It's also early in the season. The starters didn't really play in these exhibition games, and it's a Thursday night game, so which favors the under overall. I'm going to go one step further and say the Ravens have more to play here. They have a chip on their shoulder. They want to start the season strong. They want to send a message that they're for real. I think the Ravens win in a close game, but I kind of see like a 24-21 outcome here. I like the under hitting, and I like the Ravens to win outright. So that's our first bet of the season. How exciting is that? Let's move on to the next game. So now we have an unusual game in early in the season. I've never seen this before. We've seen the occasional Friday games. There's this genuine respect for schedule that I like. I'm a traditionalist in a lot of these things, but Friday night football is Friday night lights. It's supposed to be left alone for high school, and then Saturday, of course, is college football. And then Sunday and Monday is we have Thursday, Sunday, Monday. I'm cool with NFL. But we have an unusual game in Brazil. We have the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles, two very exciting teams that are moving down to Brazil. A lot going on in Brazil right now, too, by the way. The teams are not happy to be there. I saw some Eagles interviewed saying, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to play my game, and we're going to get out of there. They're being told not to leave the hotel. I've been to Brazil. I've been to Rio. I've been to Sao Paulo. It's impossible to get anywhere anyway. It's extremely dangerous if you're not in the right places. So these guys are going to be secluded. Basically, they're going to be going from their hotel to the stadium and play their game and then get out of there. It's also a very, very long trip. So I'm sure that the Eagles and the Packers went down there to get acclimated and get that flight out of the way. I'm going to be watching both these teams next week, coming off a big, big travel week. And then seeing what they look like. I won't go into that. But here's the interesting thing. This is the first game of the week, of the year, I should say, where we have consensus. So you'll see my little consensus boom there in my presentation. We all say Eagles to cover 2.5, and we all like the under in this game. So again, very similar circumstance. The offenses haven't gelled quite yet. The big question mark, of course, with Philadelphia is that Kelsey is no longer the center, and that does that mean that the tush push suffers? Um, Green Bay's got probably one of the more exciting young quarterbacks, and they've got a lot of young wide receivers. But the Philadelphia Eagles, man, they got better. Like, this is one of the best teams in NFL over the last couple of years. This is a team that got markedly better. And again, they got better by adding to that running game. So I'd love to see Green Bay's got a good defensive team, great secondary. I think both teams will be keeping the ball on the ground as much as possible, controlling the clock. I really like the under in this game, and we all love the Eagles to win handily by 6 or 7 points. They are that much better, maybe even by 10. So this is the consensus pick of the week. If you're going to bet on one bet, this is one, and I'll talk you through a couple of things. Now, what we're going to do moving forward is I'm going to go through my favorite Sunday morning picks. You all know I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. You all know that I think they have one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. In this particular case, the Fins play the Jacksonville Jaguars. The one point of concern for Miami is the defense, and has the defense gotten better? Tremendous changes with the defensive coordinator. We've had some linebackers who got injured late in the season. Some guys are coming back. We're not deep on the edge rushing position anymore. So the real question is, with our new defensive coordinator, can we get our act together and kind of control the damage on the other side? We all know that Miami is going to be able to score points against the Jaguars. The Jaguars, however, are going to be able to put points up against Miami. I love the over in this game. I think it's going to be one of the more exciting games. It could be the game that has the most points of the week one slate. And then Grok, ChatGPT, and Peppe all agree that the Fins will cover the 3.5 points at home. So we have our second boom AI consensus bet of the week. The Fins and the Jags, Fins minus 3.5, and the over. That's your second bet. Now, you can combine some of these if you want. Like, I may actually do an Eagles under and a Miami over 14 parlay, smaller amount, just a little baby peanut spread to put it out there, get the cash flow going up a little bit. But I like these two team parlays approach. It's going to give us some more wins, less upside, but more wins. Let's move on to the next Sunday game that we're highlighting, which is I'll pick my favorite morning game, and I will always pick Miami if it's in there. You'll see my Miami bet every week, regardless of when they play. And I'm basically breaking the number one rule, which is, betting my jersey. I think Miami wins the AFC East, by the way, and wins 11, 12 games this year. The Sunday afternoon pick, the Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I wanted to pick a team here that was, heavily underdogged. It playing in Seattle, and which is probably one of the toughest places to play. The OU on this one is only 41.5. I'm highlighting this. Again, both teams like to run the ball. There's this an amazing crop of young quarterbacks in the league this year. Bo Nix went to Denver and basically took over. It was absolutely exceptional in preseason football. You keep an eye on this kid. This kid is legit. I also really, really like some of the targets that the Broncos have. This is a sneaky good team, very well managed. They made a huge mistake with Russell Wilson. That didn't work out. Bo Nix is their way to turn the page towards a new era of a Broncos team that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. So kind of, playing a team that has some negative aura going into the season, but has some potential. This is where you can go get some really, really juicy money lines. So AI and Pepe disagree a little bit here. Grok says Seahawks minus 6.5 and under 41.5. I agree. All three of us actually agree on the under. We think it's going to be a hard-fought, low-scoring affair. Broncos defense is legit. ChatGPT says Broncos plus 6.5. So they think it's going to be a close game, under 41.5. They are, saying the Seahawks will likely win this game, but in a low scoring affair. And I'm going a completely different direction. Actually, I just said that all three of us had the under, which is wrong. I think Bo Nix puts the ball in the air. I think you're going to see some nice connections here with very promising tight end. Bo can run the ball. Obviously, there's a running game aspect to the Seahawks, but the Seahawks are pretty good against the defense. And again, Seattle's a really, really tough place, but I love the composure of this Bo Nix kid. So I like the Broncos money line and the over. I'm going to go completely against AI on this one, on both fronts. And again, we're going to be assigning a point for the pick against the spread and a point for the OU. And here's one case where Peppe goes against the machine. We'll see who wins that one. Next one, Monday Night Football. This is an exciting one. If you are one of these long-suffering Jets fans, you're all excited because your boy Aaron Rodgers is finally back. His Achilles heel has been cured. He no longer has that issue. He's healthy. Didn't see any snaps in preseason, but it's okay. He's Aaron Rodgers. He's fine, right? What does he have as his first game of the season? He has to go to Santa Clara. He has to face the San Francisco 49ers, who a lot of people are picking to go back to the Super Bowl. A lot of people are picking the Niners to win the Super Bowl this year. They just signed Ayuk back. Trent Williams just signed up with the team, which I think was a bigger signing than Ayuk. But everybody's healthy. CMC's healthy. Ayuk, Debo, big cock Brock Purdy behind, center, calling the plays, playing at home. Fabulous weather, beautiful fall weather here in the Bay Area. And you're playing a Jets team that people are saying is going to win the AFC East. Their defense is legit, blah, 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 blah. So here's what I think happens here. I think that Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't taken a snap in 2 years, has never really played. He actually took like 2 or 3 snaps last year before he blew his Achilles heel. He's got a new offensive line. His O-line is a little bit better than what it was last year. But the Niners are legit. The Niners are going to roll these guys. This is going to be such an ugly game for the Jets. It's going to be the back to reality game. So my prediction is the Niners win. I'm going to give a little bit of kudos to the Jets defense. I don't think that they're going to basically be able to, I don't think the Niners will score 30 on the Jets, but, mid-20s, 23, 24, 27 points, no problem. I don't think the Niners will put more than 9 or 10 points up against the Niners. So there's another pick where we all have consensus on the Niners. So AI Grok says Niners minus 4.5 with the over. And they're basically buying the Aaron Rodgers as a hero, and he's going to come out here and this is Grok is capturing the general feeling of people on Twitter. A bunch of loud New Yorkers are saying, "Okay, we're going to do this. This is our game." And Aaron Rodgers, our savior, is in town, and we have a bunch of great young receivers, pretty impressive running back situation. So they're saying, yeah, we're going to have points on both sides. But Grok is basically also saying you're not going to cover. The Niners are going to score points on you. ChatGPT and Peppe are in agreement. We both like the Niners and we both like the under in this game. So that is going to wrap it up for my picks for the week. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. What's going to happen next week is I'm going to go back and basically create a scorecard of how we've all done. If you guys want to see the recap, I'll do this for you real quick. Thursday Night Football. Let's start off with a, this is Pepe's summary. Ravens money line under 46.5. The consensus game number 1, Eagles minus 2.5 and the under. Consensus game number 2, the Finns minus 3.5 and the over. Pepe has the Broncos money line over 41.5. I'm going to love to see this game. I watched this Bo Nix kid. He's legit. And then we have the Jets being humbled at on the road in Santa Clara against the Niners. I call it the back to reality game for the Jets fans, and we're going to start seeing an Aaron Rodgers who is probably going to wish he retired early here, right? Or he's going to get injured because I really don't think that offensive line is going to be that much better. So that being said, folks, thank you for joining me. I will be checking this often. I'll be doing a recap show next week, and I'll be back with my AI picks next Thursday. I'll try to keep it in and around the same time. Thanks for joining me. This is Pepe from Pepe's Parlay. On behalf of Pepe, Grok, and ChatGPT, welcome to football season, guys. Enjoy. We'll chat to you next week. Cheers.